Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For this video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to very easily resize or take in your oversized t-shirts. Now in this clip, it might look like there's not much of a difference, but trust me, there is. So here are some of the materials you will be needing. You will be needing a pair of scissors, holding pins, needle and thread if you don't have a sewing machine, measuring tape, and some marking pins. So jumping right into it, the first thing you want to do is take your scissors and you just want to start cutting right at the seam all the way up and under the armpit. While doing this, you want to be sure that you're being very careful and watching what you're doing, because you could easily mess up and accidentally cut another part of the shirt, which you don't want to do, which is what I did. So make sure that you're being really careful and watching what you're doing. So now that that's done, you just want to take your shirt and turn it inside out. Now, as you can see, I've already done one side of my shirt, so I'm going to continue to do the same thing. So now I'm just aligning the shirt to make sure everything is straight. Then I am going to be taking my measuring tape and I'm going to put it at the seam. And I think I want to take in about 1.5 inches on each side. So now I'm just taking my marking pen and I'm marking at the 1.5 inch spot. Now once I get close to the armpit, you see right there how I kind of shifted the tape. I did that because I want everything to kind of flow right, and I don't want it to be like a harsh edge. I want everything to be kind of smooth. So while you're doing this, you want to make sure that everything is still aligned properly, because while you're working, things can kind of shift and go out of place. So once I do that, I'm going to start taking my holding pins and I'm going to pin them right where you see the little marks. Now, as you can see, once I get to the armpit, that needle is going to be a bit slanted. And because the sleeves on this shirt are black, I'm going to just use my measuring tape and put it along the seam once again, get to my 1.5 point, and then I'm just going to take a needle and pin it right there. So now you just want to begin sewing. The sewing process didn't take me that long. It only took me about 15 minutes, but if you're a beginner, of course, it'll take a little bit longer. So just take your time and make sure that you're doing it right and not rushing. Now trust me guys, your sewing does not have to be perfect. As long as it's tight, to me, that's all that matters. I don't really worry about my stitching being so perfect, just because it doesn't really have to be. It's a DIY, so nothing that you do is ever going to be perfect. So as you can see, I'm just sewing pretty much right next to the needle. So not only is it a good way to keep your fabric together, it's a very good guideline. Now, one thing about sewing that happens to me a lot is tangling. My thread gets tangled very easily. So what you will see me doing right here is I actually place my thumb or any finger of your choice in between the thread, just so that that won't happen, because when that happens, a knot forms in your thread, and then that means that you have to cut the thread and start all over, re-thread your needle, re-knot your needle, and it's just such a hassle. So yeah, that's a really good tip if you have problems with your thread knotting up. So here's just a little close-up for you guys to show you guys how I sew, and to show you guys that my sewing is nowhere near perfect. Like I said, I don't really care to make it perfect. I just want it to be tight and to make sure that my clothes don't be coming loose. And I think this form of stitching is called back stitching. I'm not really sure. I learned how to sew when I was in middle school. So yeah, but I think that that's what it's called. So now I am just finishing up and reaching the end. So I'm just going to show you how I tighten. So I'm just going to basically cross the thread over, as you see me doing right there, and then I'm just going to connect it to the last thread and pull it through. And I'm going to do that about 3 times just to make sure that the ends are very secure. And this is also what I did for the bottom part of the shirt when I first started sewing. And now I'm just going to finish up by tying a knot. So now that we are all done sewing, I'm just going to take my holding pins and take them out of the shirt. So now I am going to turn the shirt right side in, and I'm going to make sure that I like what I see before I proceed on to the next step. So now I'm going to turn the shirt back inside out, and you see all of that excess right after the thread. We are going to cut all of that off on both sides. And now you should have a little something like this. Now your shirt is all finished. You see how easy that was? Taking a big ass shirt and making it to fit the way you want it to fit. Now obviously, because this is a jersey, I didn't want it to be too small. I wanted it to fit, but not too tight and not too loose. So I'm really happy with the results. So I'm just showing you my stitching. And that's about it, guys. Be sure to check the description box for more information and more informative steps. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video.